Well, hello. Here we are with our teen tested crafts. I'm here with Candle Kitchens, our fabulous teen tester, and I'm Mrs. Neiman from Carlsbad Public Library. Today we are going to do another great craft. I think you're really going to like this one. We're going to go to the ocean for this one, and we are going to create a little mini octopus buddy for you. I don't know if you can see him, but he's got all 8 legs. He's got some little bows on there and a spiffy tie. This is really fun to make. And you could, if you wanted to, once you get the hang of it, you could make a really big one. You could make a giant one. You could make an even smaller one. But this is going to be where our craft is. So for our craft kit, we've got them free here at the library for you if you want to come and pick one up. And in those, you're going to find a couple different colors of yarn in each kit. If you have some yarn colors at home you'd rather use, that's okay too. For this craft, we're also going to use a cotton ball and 800 wiggly eyes. No, really, just 2. Okay, so Candle, are you ready to show us how you created this adorable little octopus?
Yeah, I'm really excited about it.
Awesome. Did you have any trouble with it? Anything you want to tell us ahead of time to be careful for, or is it pretty straightforward?
I would say that just make sure that your the yarn that you cut, it wraps completely around the cotton ball, because I'm not sure if you can see, but on the back of this sample one, there's like little spots where the cotton ball
kind of shows through?
Yeah, it kind of shows through.
So you want to get good coverage as you're making it?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. So that should be easy to do. Let's switch over to the crafty cam. We're gonna do a picture in a picture thing here. And I'm going to just make my part smaller so that you can see Candle's hands as she's crafting. There's Candle's hands. Okay, I'm going to maybe move mine a little smaller here. Let's see. I can't. Oh, there we go. Okay, so all right, so Candle, could you move the octopus sample guy over that? Yes, thank you. Okay, there, that looks great. So talk us through this. What's the process, Candle?
So first off, you're going to want to have a ruler or a meter stick or just some kind of thing that you can measure out your lengths of yarn. And I believe that it says that we need 8, if you'll check on that for me.
Oh, how long it should be? Okay, yes, yeah. I will check on that.
I believe they're 12-inch strands, and there's a certain number of them.
It says to cut 24 12-inch ones and 8 4-inch ones and 1 12-inch one.
Alrighty. So I just have these 2 colors. I have the yellow and I have the blue. And yellow is going to be the base color, so it's going to end up being this pink right here.
Okay, so the yellow is going to be our body. And for that, we need to have 24 12-inch pieces. Now, that makes sense if you think about the fact that an octopus has 8 tentacles. And as you've probably noticed when we were showing the craft, the tentacles of this octopus are braided. And you usually use 3 strands to make a braid. Yes, so that means 8 arms times 3 strands is 24 pieces. And again, if you wanted to experiment with this at home a little bit, you could probably, try doing some a bigger size one, but then you'd have to increase the length of your strands as well.
And you would also need a larger item. You could use multiple cotton balls, or you could use something like...
You could use styrofoam ball would work.
Balls.
Or another yarn that you don't like, that you just want to get rid of it. You could cover it up with an octopus.
So I'm just going to go through and drag this along to the 12-inch mark and then cut at the very beginning of the ruler to get those the 12-inch lengths for that. In the yellow.
Seems pretty easy to do.
Yeah, it's just simple cutting and measuring for that part, so that isn't too hard of a...
Did you end up trimming it a little bit after you were done, or did you cut accurately the first time, or?
What I ended up doing is after I got done braiding the legs, if I noticed that there were any parts that were just like a little uneven, I would cut it all so it's around the same length.
Just kind of even it up.
Yeah, but
So,
I try to just keep it as is before the actual braiding part, just so I don't get any uneven lengths.
it's a good idea. And it's important when you're cutting the yarn. Yarn is very stretchy. It's just, made out of fibers. So if you want to get an accurate length, it's important to not put any tension on the yarn. Just lay it down next to the ruler and cut it. Don't stretch it. Don't pull it tight. There might be some other circumstances where you might want to pull it tightly, but in this case, to get a more accurate measurement, just keep it loose and tension free. And then I think you'll have a better, more accurate cutting. I've lost track. I was counting, but now I don't know how many there are.
I believe I'm cutting number 11 right
11.
now.
Okay, we're almost halfway.
This takes a little bit of time to do. As far as the overall craft, I would say maybe half an hour to 45 minutes, since there is a lot more work involved to get all the little braids in, and just the measuring and cutting of it, making sure that everything's lined up right and looks good. So.
Right. This would be kind of an easy craft if you were prepping it and you were having a movie night or something. You could prep it ahead of time and then make a couple of sets of them and invite a friend over.
Yeah.
And just have an octopus making party. That would be fun.
You can watch The Little Mermaid or like...
Oh, I love that. Okay, what would we have for snacks at our Little Mermaid / octopus making party? What could we have? We could have goldfish crackers.
Goldfish crackers, and then some of those like cheese whales.
Oh!
And they're kind of like goldfish, but just whales.
Yeah, right.
And then there's also, you can get it at most of the stores here in Carlsbad, actually. It's seaweed. Just like dried seaweed that
I've
you can
seen
snack
that,
on.
yeah.
It's not that bad, in my opinion.
Is it salty or not?
Yeah,
salty?
it's very salty. And they have some other flavors like wasabi as well if you like spicy foods.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like spicy food.
Yeah.
So I don't get that. But yeah, you can get all of that and just enjoy a little under the sea party.
That would be
you can
fun.
you can have sparkling water as like
Yes,
bubbles.
definitely. You definitely could do that. Or you could do bottles of bubbles for fun.
Yeah.
Outside.
You could have as the main course, you could have some salmon or catfish.
Yeah, that would be terrific. Yep. Yeah. And that would be a great overnight party.
Yeah.
I love it. So it looks like we've got a lot of strands cut. I haven't been keeping track.
I also lost track, so I'm going to have to count it up in a second.
Oh, you want me to count them?
Oh, yeah, if you could.
Okay, so I'm going to count and see how many we have.
And I'll just keep cutting out strands. Because I feel like we still got a good ways to go, so.
6, 7, 8.
And you'll want to make sure that you have pretty sharp scissors, just so that you avoid this kind of fraying. Like I kind of cut it a little blunt, and it ended up with that kind of frayed end, and it's not that good for tying, and it might end up falling apart that way. So you just want to make sure that your ends are nice and straight, and that you have sharp scissors to
So
cut.
this is half. This is 12, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 7. So if you do
8, 9.
a total of 5 more on that little pile, you'll have 24.
We're gonna go 10, 11, and 12.
Well, that didn't really take that long. And the fun thing about doing a craft is to spend a little time. I want to pick up on your point about sharp scissors. So here at the library, we don't have sewing machines and stuff, so most of our scissors are used for cutting paper. And paper causes the edge of this pair of scissors to get very dull. If you have someone in your home who sews and they have a pair of scissors that they set aside just for using with fabric, that pair of scissors is probably going to be a lot sharper. So you might ask if you can borrow that. I mean, don't run out and get a brand new pair of scissors, but or if you have a scissors sharpener around the house, you could maybe run your scissors blade through that a couple times, and that might help too.
I've also heard that you can sharpen scissors by getting a piece of aluminum foil and cutting through that.
Well,
So
you could try it.
could be something to try.
But try it with your own scissors, not with your granny's special sewing scissors.
Yes.
Yeah. She might get upset. Okay, so this, again, this is 24 pieces. This is your main color of yarn. So this is going to be the head and the legs of the octopus, not your accent color. And it's 24 pieces. They're each 12 inches long.
And then were there any other cuts of the
for the yellow.
typical-
Let's see. No, we just have to cut some of the secondary color. So this is the whole, this is all you have to cut out of your main color of yarn. And then we want to have 8 4-inch pieces of your contrasting color. So in this case, that is a blue. So 8 4-inch pieces. Those are pretty small.
Yeah, that's just about that long for that.
Okay. You could make them a little longer and trim them later if you wanted to, because those are going to be the little bows that hold the braids together, keep them from raveling.
Yeah.
And we only need 8 of those. We don't need another 24.
And as always, be careful around scissors, because even though we are teens, I am a teen, I am still semi-unsafe with scissors sometimes, so...
Do you run with scissors, Candle?
No, I don't run with
Okay,
scissors.
good.
It's more of just accidentally, like, cutting myself, or, like, if I'm... there's been several times that I've been chopping up potatoes, and I'll go and, like, cut off a piece of my finger, is like, ah.
Do you chop those with scissors or with a knife? She's got to think about that. Got to be careful with sharp things, okay?
Sharp things in general.
Be careful. So do you have 8 there?
I need one more.
One more. Okay, and then your final cut, you need to make a 12-inch piece of the secondary color.
All right,
So-
and that's going to be for this little bow around.
Right, to give him a little sort of a neck.
Yeah, that'll help it so that your little head doesn't come unraveled, and that he will,
I don't know if anybody who's watching has seen like an old-fashioned one of these. This is a really retro craft, probably from the 60s and the 1960s, 1970s.
Yeah, I honestly love this little guy. And
He's really cute.
I would just have him like sitting on a shelf somewhere.
He's very friendly. So now that we have all of the prepping done, what's our next step, Candle?
So we're going to take all of these individual strands and make sure we don't drop them in the floor. And we're going to lay them out flat in a circle. So it's going to end up looking like just this big circle made from the laid out flat strands. And you can do 2 at a time if you want and lay them out together to make it a bit faster. And you're just going to want to do that so that we can set up the base for the little cotton ball to go in the middle.
Okay.
And that's how we'll kind of bring it all together and wrap it up together to make the head.
Okay. So you are letting them meet in the middle, but you're kind of forming them you're going to form them into a circle. So first off, you started off by making a little cross, and now you're going to make a diagonal. But you're letting the center of each strand of yarn kind of intersect the other centers.
Yeah, and that's just to make sure that you have a base center where you can wrap it up around. And
You're going to put your cotton ball there.
Yeah, and try and keep it as even as possible because you'll want the even legs on all the sides.
Sure, sure. Okay, so keep them even, equal distance apart, or equal distance of length.
Yes.
I don't know what I'm talking about. I think just watching you do it here is making more sense than having me try to come up with how to say that. I notice you're just kind of doing groups of 2 to get started.
Yeah, because there's so many strands of yarn. You could do it in individual lengths, but then again, it could be a little more difficult for that.
Yeah, right, right. So you're just basically trying to make a big sunburst
Yeah.
out of this yarn, and that's just getting it ready to take the next step. Almost finished, I think.
Yeah, I just have a few more strands to lay out, and then it will be good.
So there's a good amount of prep work on this. Do you feel like the prep work or the actual braiding part is more time consuming?
I would say the prep work takes a
Okay.
lot more time.
Oh, okay, so once we get this part done, it's gonna go pretty quickly from here.
Well, I mean, it depends on, like, if you have experience with braiding. Like, if you've braided hair before, then it'll be a bit easier. If
Sure.
you haven't quite yet, it may take a second to get that
Kind of
organized.
get the feel for it, yeah.
Now, I have a couple of sizes of a cotton ball here. I used a typical size cotton ball and kind of compacted it down for this one, but I believe that that also contributed to that kind of poking out.
Little
So,
gap. Okay, so we have all of our yarn arranged in a sort of a sunburst pattern, and now we have a cotton ball that is in the center. And Candle is going to kind of press down on that cotton ball, try to keep it in place as she folds up the ends.
I'm going to try and
To
get
meet-
all of the areas together and just get it wrapped up in this little spaghetti mess.
Right, so you may not be able to see her hand perfectly, but I think there you can kind of see what she's doing.
Just kind of gathering it up and making a little cocoon for the cotton ball,
Right.
so that you'll end up with something like that.
Yes, okay.
And if there are some areas along here that you need to adjust the cotton ball inward, just do that right ahead. And
Yep, just move the yarn and cover up any empty spaces that you see. That should be fine. The cotton ball is real squishy, so it's not going to put up too much of a fight, however you want to arrange it.
yeah, and then you're just going to make sure that once all of the major parts of the cotton ball are covered up, that you take your long piece of the secondary color.
So, yeah, that's the 12-inch piece, the last piece we cut.
And wrap it around where you want the neck to be, and make just a basic knot there.
Perfect.
And you'll want to tie it pretty tight so that it has that separation, and then make a little bow. And you can do the bunny ear method, or you can do the little circle method like I am doing now.
And it may be helpful to have a friend, you know, if you need a extra couple of fingers or something to help you keep it organized. And while you're doing all this, that can work too.
Yeah, and it might happen again where you have to go and adjust in the little cotton ball, and you can tighten it down by pulling on the little strands within that. And you don't want to tighten it too much because then it'll start to pop out, but you want to make sure that it does wrap around the entirety of it.
Okay, so now we've got a bunch of spaghetti. We have our little head and our bow around there. What is the next step? Encapsulated inside of our little strands of yarn, and we've got our blue knot tying the like where the octopus neck would be, I guess.
Yeah.
Now we're going to separate the spaghetti legs that are all hanging down there. We're going to separate those into 8 groups of 6.
So you just want to count out 6 little strands, and once you have them, I recommend that you use the little pieces to go ahead and just make a basic tie to hold it together so that you can keep track of where all of your little strands are.
Right, okay, and then we can get busy with the braiding part.
Yeah, so you'll just have to make sure you grab the adjacent strands. Don't grab anything like from the opposite side of the octopus, because they are going to have to be braided, and it'll be a little hard to do if it's all
get them right
separate away.
close together, yep. And you've got your pre-cut little short pieces of your contrasting yarn, so you have that all ready to go, so it should go pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's just a little time to count it out and
Yes, so
sure
we're going to
that you got all
untie
the-
these again to get ready to braid each one, but this way we got it all organized here.
And it doesn't hurt to go and check again, because see, like I grabbed 7 there, so it doesn't hurt to always check again.
Yeah, good idea, good advice. Make sure you're getting what you want. And so we counted out, we cut 24. Why we have to do 6 is because we originally started out with 24 strands. But by putting the little cotton ball in the center of the strands and folding them upwards, that doubled the amount of that meant we had 48 ends hanging down, because of course each strand has 2 ends. So now instead of just doing 3, we're going to do 6 strands, and that will get us all evened out, so we'll have an equal number of strands per each of the 8 legs. And if you don't want to listen to any of that, you can just skip it. Just a little bit of math here. Okay, we're almost done. We've just got a few more to do here, and then we're going to be ready to show you how to braid. You probably already know how to do it, but in case you don't, you can watch Candle and get her a little reminder of how it's done. So what she's going to do is she's going to go back and do each little clump that she's prepared and braid it so that it looks just like the little sample one that you can see in the corner of your screen. I know it seems like a lot of strands right now, but it's going to become all organized and cute, just, we promise.
Yeah, the braids will definitely make it a lot less strands to deal with.
Right now it looks more like a jellyfish. You could just leave it like that.
Yeah, true. If you don't necessarily want to make an octopus, you can make a little jellyfish and just have the little knotted strands.
Right.
And he'd be very stingy, and I'm not...
Right. I've heard those things are pretty poisonous.
All right. So now we got them all separated out, and it looks like a little jellyfish. We're just going to go with the first strand that we have here and undo the little knot we made, just so we can do the little braiding part.
Now, in this bundle of strands that she's looking at, she's got 6 little strands hanging down. So what she wants to do is to count each pair as like one strand of her braid.
Yeah, so you'll just want to kind of separate it out in 3 directions for 2 strands each. And then in order to braid, what you want to do is take the 3 strands, and you're going to take these strands and cross them over the middle strand.
Just alternating.
Yeah,
right.
So just going to take it like that.
Yeah.
And you can
okay,
even
now
do it
you have
out
a
flat
new
like
middle
this.
strand. Now your outside becomes your middle.
Yeah.
And you go over that.
And you just alternate left, right, or right, left.
Either one, yep.
And you can do it like that. Or if you want more tighter ties, you just kind of hold it together and do really close little.
And if you need a little bit of practice before you start, you can do that before you get started, because it's a small project, so it might be a little trickier.
And if you're having trouble keeping this guy held down, you can use like a little cup and kind of separate that out, or you can just weigh it down with something heavy nearby, and that will hold it down so you can it won't move around as much.
Yes. What have you got there? Some duct tape?
Yeah, it's just like a roll of tape. Anything heavy will do, like a stapler or a book.
Oh yes,
something like that.
Just to kind of hold it in place for you.
Yeah, and I'm going to start from the beginning just to show the kind of tighter knot now that we have it held down. You can use your fingers to kind of alternate between them and just kind of use little grabbing motions to...
Yeah, I know the people who have been braiding their own hair or their siblings' hair for years are going to get right into this, and those who maybe haven't tried braiding before, you might want to practice a little bit with some longer strings and just anything you can find to practice with, just to get the hang of it a little bit. And this is a simple braid. There are many types of braids that can be very intricate, but this is a pretty simple basic one, just left over right, right over left, over and over again. And then as you get down to the end of your set of strands,
when you run out of room with the strings, you'll just want to take your strand again and make a little tie at the bottom.
Okay, and this will be your final tie, so you can tie it nice and tight, right?
Mm-hmm.
You might again want to get a friend to help if you're having trouble managing to tie it while holding everything together.
Yeah.
So that can be a fun time to
and you'll just want to make sure to tie it really tight. And once you have it done, you'll notice that there's kind of leftover string or anything like that. And you can just take some scissors and cut it right where you want it.
So trim it up so it's neat.
Yeah. And I just do really small cuts right there around there, and for the little tentacles, I like keeping it around the same length as some of the shorter strands. So something like that.
Yeah, that looks nice and neat.
And you can take your little strings and just throw them away.
Right.
And then once that's done, you just take the next one and move on.
So you just keep going around and around.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll do that a total of 8 times to get your whole octopus created.
Mm-hmm. Overall, I think this is a fairly simple craft. It's just a little time consuming is the only constraint I see with it.
Yes. So it's not one you're going to get done in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Give yourself at least a half an hour probably. I think that's what you said when we started, was about a half an hour, 25 minutes?
Yeah, I would say about that much time.
And if you decided you wanted to use some of the yarn that you have at home and keep going and make some more of these, you could make them different sizes by adjusting the length of the yarn pieces that you cut. There's great ideas online for this craft. If you just look up yarn octopus, you'll find some more ideas. And you can get maybe some more patterns with specific yarn lengths. You could put, fiber fill in the middle too. If you have some leftover stuffing from another project, that would work too. But this little mini octopus, all you need is a cotton ball, so pretty easy. Now if you wanted to, at the end of your project, you could also cut a little loop of yarn the same color as your octopus body. And that would allow you to hang it from your backpack or whatever you would want to do. Or it could just sit on your bookshelf too. It's kind of cute.
Yeah, I'm probably going to have my little dude just hang out around the house.
Did you name it?
I haven't named mine yet, actually.
Well, what's a good name for an octopus?
I don't know.
We have a book in the library here in the children's department, and it's about a girl octopus. Her name's Octavia.
Octavia.
Which is good because, that means 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
Octavia. Okay, that's our penultimate one. And now we're on our final one.
Yay.
Yay, indeed.
We're just going to finalize this with the same method of just braiding the little legs.
So, yep, you separate it out into groups of 2, and each group of 2 you work together.
And don't worry if your braiding comes out a little clumpy. It's just meant to be a cute little craft, and the braiding doesn't have to be super uniform. It doesn't have to be super thin, super thick, or any kind of specific way of braiding. If it's got little loose bits, then it's fine. It's just meant to be
It gives
cute.
it some character and individuality.
Yeah.
And overall, the effect is very cute when you're done, as you can see from the sample one. So it's going to look great. And again, if you're having trouble hanging on to your little octopus, you can weight it down with something. You can ask a friend to hold it for you while you do the braiding part, and then you can hold their octopus while they're doing their braiding part, so you can kind of cooperate with another person.
And I think that might be one of the easiest things to do is have
a partner to hold on to the octopus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that might be the easiest, yeah.
Because then you don't have to worry about the tape that's sitting on your octopus sliding around as you as you braid it.
We're going to do our final trim there. Okay, now we have our little octopus character.
And he's still a little messy around the head because it doesn't like to stick around so much. But
Maybe you could put some more cotton in there. You could just stuff some in.
yeah. And you can also just pull down on the legs a bit to kind of tighten it down
okay. Yeah, that
across
looks good.
the board.
Yeah. Okay, now we got to put some eyes on that guy.
Yeah, and you could even gather it up in the spots that it's starting to loosen up, and you can choose to get your little eyes. You can use any size of eyes really. for this craft. I just have these little ones here, but if you use larger ones, it might be easier to stick it all together. This one's got slightly larger eyes.
Here's some Elmer's glue.
Mm-hmm.
Pass that over to Candle.
And clear off the little glue on there. And then you don't want much glue on here at all, just a little teeny tiny dab of it, and that will be plenty. And you can press down on an area that needs a little more help.
That's true. You can cover up your bald spot with your eyeballs.
And you'll want to like hold it there for a minute or two while it dries a bit, and then you'll want, after you've gotten both of them on enough to stay, you want to set it down and walk away.
Walk away, let it dry completely. That makes sense. Another option you could do is if you had some scraps of felt at home, you could cut some eyes out of felt, and you could even cut out a little mouth from some felt if you wanted to. Just make your octopus look however you want when you get it done. Are they sticking?
Yeah, they're sticking. Okay.
Okay.
They'll just need to dry.
They just need to dry.
This one needs to hold a second more.
Yeah, you got to be patient at this juncture. You've invested a lot of time cutting, trimming, braiding, counting, and now you don't want to just at the last moment get all frustrated and have your eyeballs fall off.
And
Okay.
you can just make some last minute adjustments to the little cotton ball, but otherwise you're left with a little dude.
Yeah, looks very good. I like it. Nice work on that one. Okay, so I'm gonna let okay, oh, they look terrific.
This one's, he needs a little help. He's good.
He looks just like a little octopus. I don't know, I think he looks really good. Okay, so let's make our screen a little bigger. And we just want to tell you that your octopus kit is down here at the library if you haven't picked it up yet. It's easy to come by and just ask for one. While you're here, make sure you've got your library card up to date so you can check out some fun books. If you don't want to check out print books, you can also go online to our app Hoopla or Libby, and you can download things to use on your device. So plenty of fun stuff to read. Keep logging your reading because we are giving away prizes for teens, and that means you. So we want to give you some prizes. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.